Okay, guys, we are really excited because right now we have not one but two surprise special guests.
Ooh.
Now, the first guest is someone you will definitely have heard of if you are into UFOs. We have got the world's leading disinfo agent and government shill on the show. He's worked for the Ministry of Defence for 21 years and sat on the fence for 21 years. Tonight, please welcome Nicholas George Pope.
Whoa.
Trumpets, please.
Pope is here.
Pope, son.
And as you can see, he's doing the very, very famous walk. Here we go. Juggling both sides of the MOD and the Ministry of Justice.
Drop your magic stone.
Another plump from the government.
Okay.
He's made it to the other side.
Yes,
Well done, Nick.
You are anointed Nick Pope. And you may now take off the blindfold. There you go.
Hey.
And come and join us on the
Come
sofa.
and join us on the sofa.
Hey.
Yeah.
The Official Secrets Act no longer applies
That's
now that
right.
you've walked the plank of truth, Nick.
Well, that felt like being waterboarded.
No, it didn't. Right, so Nick, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm just passing the blindfold
Let me
over.
put these on so I can see you guys.
Okay.
As Frankie said, I used to work for the Ministry of Defence, 21 years, lots of different things. 3 years on the UFO project, and I guess that's what I'm best known for. The real life Fox Mulder, they called me.
Okay, all right. So which actual part of your UFO project was you working for?
Well, there is only one. So it was Ministry of Defence, the headquarters building on Whitehall. Literally, my office overlooked 10 Downing Street. Yeah, that was me.
I want to know, do you believe in aliens and all that?
I don't know. There is more to this than just aircraft lights and weather balloons and satellites. There are some intriguing cases. These things are seen by pilots, they're tracked on radar. Sometimes they perform speeds and manoeuvres that we can't match. Does that mean they're extraterrestrial? No. Does it mean that...
They're dodgy government projects?
Or does it mean
Perhaps.
it was a boat breaking the speed limit again?
No, I think, you know, at any given time, of course, sure, we have prototype aircraft and drones that you won't see in the media for the next 10 years. Yeah.
Why?
Because they're secret.
Ah.
That's what we do.
Well, why can't we see him? Why is there such a secret?
Well, because it is.
That's not an answer, Nick. I want to know why there's secrets.
No, we design the next... I mean, imagine the stealth fighter, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Publicly acknowledged in 1988, I think, 1988, 89. Obviously, it had been
1976.
flying for at least 10 years before that. Now, the question is, next generation stealth. You know, obviously, we have things flying out there that we don't want to tell the bad guys about. There are things flying around that we built, but we tend to fly these things in fairly clearly defined ranges and test areas, so we can kind of tell those apart from something a little bit more spooky.
A bit like Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
There is, on occasion, for example, radar evidence. You know, something to back this up. So, yeah.
We are being visited. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm a bit freaky. Have you seen them yourself?
No.
Oh.
I haven't seen them, but I've spoken to the pilots, to the police officers, the military personnel, the radar operators, people who have analysed the photos. Yeah, there's a pretty compelling case.
So we've got aliens out there. What do they eat?
So if somebody asks you this... No, but seriously, if somebody asks you this again at a UFO conference or wherever you go, I don't ever want to hear, on the balance of probability.
No,
most
he said
likely."
yes.
I just
He
want
said
you to
yes.
say yes and tell the truth because you owe it to people. To be honest, if I get him alone after a couple of drinks, those are not the same answers. So, I mean, honestly...
I'm sure they're not, Frankie.
No.
I'm sure they're not.
Honestly.
Anyway, we don't want to know
No.
about your personal
Are
life.
we?
Just ask him
Wait.
questions as
Are
regards to
we?
the UFOs.
Yeah, I am
Frank.
asking it. I am. Are we being visited?
Well, on the balance of
No.
probability...
Stop your bullshit. Yes or no?
Yes. It's on camera.
Look at
Use
the
it-
camera. Look at the camera and tell it to people. Are we being
Yeah,
visited?
because
Look,
I think you
look at
owe
camera.
it to people to
Look
actually
at the
tell
camera.
them
Look
the
at the camera.
truth.
Tell us. Tell
Are we
go
being
on.
visited?
No, I didn't ask you to answer the question. We're asking you the question.
Yeah.
Are we being visited, bro?
Maybe.
No.
Oh,
Why do
that
you
wasn't
keep
the
saying?
answer, was
Why
it?
do you keep
No.
saying yes
Okay.
and then no?
No, just tell us the truth. Just give me a state. Go,
You
go.
know, off camera, you would say yes.
No, don't force him.
Yeah,
I
okay.
just want him to do it
Okay,
himself.
all
Go
right,
for
we're-
it.
we're not
Are we
forcing
being
you.
visited?
Yes.
There you go, bro. That wasn't
right.
hard, was it?
Thank you.
You're going to get
so
shot
much
tomorrow
for
by
that.
MI5.
Before we bring on the next guest.
It's about.
So, please, can we welcome
Please welcome.
the next guest? This is award-winning journalist, presenter, and actor. This man is an establishment within himself. He's fantastic. Please welcome Mike Parrish.
Come on.
Ready to walk the plank of truth.
And here
Come
we go.
on, Mike.
Sit,
See?
hold it.
Drop your stone. And welcome Mike Parrish to the show.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Take a seat there.
How you doing?
Yeah,
How you doing,
welcome,
Mike?
Brilliant,
to
brilliant.
the show.
Make yourself comfortable.
Hello, Nick.
Good to meet you.
We have met before.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Right. Mike, is there anything you'd like to say
I
to
just
us?
stood over there off set and listened to the biggest lot of rubbish anybody could make. Do we find UFOs a serious subject or a joke? That's a question we should be asking the viewers. But Mr. Pope, in some ways, is a joke. Nick,
We're going to get away with him there.
Oh, it's a big statement. It's a big opening statement. When you say that Nick is a big joke, please clarify your statement.
well, I do happen to know quite a bit about the civil service. They actually have a college at Woking. It's called the College, where they get trained to be economic with the truth.
Okay.
I didn't go there.
Ah, I'm surprised.
Or are you just saying that?
No,
Because you've learned to be economic with the
Oh,
truth.
yeah.
Do you know this college in Woking?
We're talking Sunningdale, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, you're not a
Yeah.
college. You're not a college.
I even know the secret code word
What
that.
is it?
Well, no, it's very funny actually. When MOD turn up there, they're not supposed to say we're MOD. They're
That's
supposed
right.
to say we're.
Say what?
Joggers. Joggers.
Dancers.
We come for jiggy jiggy.
We're
In the
some sort of.
college.
What's the code? What's the code, Nick?
I
Dancers.
don't know. I'm not telling you.
Runners?
No. It's an imaginary organisation that doesn't exist, but it really
What,
means
MOD?
It's us.
Oh,
we're here.
yes.
We're back.
But never mind.
Another thing being revealed now on the official Secrets Act.
On the official secret. And please, you guys were sitting here. That civil servants don't tell lies.
this
Civil
one does.
servants advise. Well, we're going to find out in a minute. Civil servants, a minister gets a question, or he knows he's going to face some hard times in the House. So he sends his secretary along to the principal of his department. We need some questions. Oh, blah, 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 blah. This is going to happen. Yes. Principal goes along to the underdogs, the understudies. I need some answers. I've just got this question from the minister. So between the lot of them, they come up with a version of events. They then go to Nick. I think you were SEO when you left.
SEO, I did a stint
What's
as.
SEO?
It's middle.
Civil Service gobbledygook.
It's
What does
no.
it mean?
Come on, you said
Stands for Senior Executive Officer.
You said that you would tell the truth. You've walked the plank, so let's have the truth. You were an SEO, which is roughly middle of the road. Not down there, not up there. He's there.
There it is.
So AAs, EOs, etc., etc. And the principal then will add or take out what he feels like. Then Mr. Minister gets a phone call.
You're agreeing, you're nodding your head. This is how it works.
It's bureaucracy, but yes, this is how it works.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine how many versions we have got to by now? The AA and the EO.
What, the Alcoholics Anonymous?
No. An AA is an assistant, just an ordinary office person. Then we get to an EO, executive officer. These two have contrived this story. Then we go to Mr. Pope. Mr. Pope adds his bit to the contrived story. Then it goes all the way to the principal. He will then alter the story. By the time the minister's got it, he's got what he wants. And sadly, 9 times out of 10, it's not the truth.
Would you agree with me?
No. There's no organisation on the face of the planet, be it the civil service, be it, you know, a company selling ice cream, that's not going to put itself in the best possible light, and if something goes wrong, isn't going to spin that so that they come out looking as good as they can in the circumstances.
Hold on.
But let me just pick up on your point, though, and say, here's a question. Let me give a practical example, maybe. If there's a question asked, how many aircraft are there in this hangar? And you want a high answer because you want to show that you've got a lot of equipment for the people on the front line. Now, supposing there are 5 aircraft in the hangar, your answer has got to be 5.
Yeah.
It cannot be 4, it cannot be 6.
Yeah,
now,
I get that.
But here's the thing. If some of the aircraft actually have their wings off and they're not able to be deployed, you can still count them. You know.
Yeah.
So what we're actually talking about is spin. It's presentation. But at the end
Well,
of the
I think
day,
that's
hang on.
basically what you've been saying, babe,
But
yeah.
either at the end of the day there are there are not 5 aircraft in the hangar, and civil servants may spin, politicians may wriggle, but they don't lie.
That is a terrible statement to make, because quite recently those thieving, lying little so-and-sos have been captured with the hands in the purse. 21,000 for a duck house.
What
Didn't he have a good relationship with his wife, so he had to have a duck house built on an island to live in? Come on. They are liars
that.
and dishonest.
I'm not defending that sort of thing for a moment, and it's quite
But if
right.
they can tell one lie, they can tell billions of
But
lies.
here's the point. They didn't lie about it. They were getting away with claiming it because the system allowed them to.
Yeah,
now,
there's
they
nothing
were
wrong with what they
playing
was
the
doing.
system because the system allowed it.
So-
the system is wrong, but they didn't lie about it.
5 aeroplanes, got no wheels, got no wings, but we got 5. You've led, or a minister has led the public on distorted truth that we have. Because you haven't said they're not operational. Sorry, we haven't got any wheels, or they're missing their fingers and their wings, poor little birds. No, we haven't said that. We've said we've got 5 planes operational.
Then that's where it's incumbent upon people to ask the right questions, because if the right question
See, that's you. That's the wriggle.
It's
That
Yeah,
is the wriggle.
I have to
Here's the
say
right
that-
question, Nick.
No,
That's the
no.
right question for you. What's the secret code then?
No.
It's yeah, but going back to
It's
this
yeah.
point, it's yeah. So,
Yeah, but no, that is a riddle.
It's yeah.
of course it's a wriggle. If the question had been asked, how many operational aircraft are in that hangar ready to be deployed to
Don't
Afghanistan at 24 hours notice, the answer might be 0. But if the question is how many aircraft are in the hangar, the answer can be 5.
No, sorry, Nick. Again, you've just kind of demonstrated how unjust certain government officials are, because you're saying
Unjust or untruthful.
untruthful as well.
Right.
Because really, there could only be one answer to that question, but yet you're saying one of the questions might be that there might be 0. It's not might be, it's 0.
I mean,
It's the
shouldn't they be
answer.
more transparent with the facts? Isn't it our right to know? Because you're giving, it's like some woman asking her husband, have you slept with another woman? And him going, no, because he's
very
been out
impressed.
sleeping with
See?
3 men, but she didn't ask the right
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. I'm not disagreeing with a word of that. Now, if you were asked the question, how many aircraft in the hangar, if you were being totally transparent, you should say there are 5 in the hangar, but actually only one of them could go.
See, now
out
we're
there
being
because,
blamed.
You know,
We're being blamed for not asking the right question. Now, let me come on to something else, Nick. Do you believe that there is other forms of life out in our universe? Do you believe it?
yes.
Do you believe that we have been visited by unidentified? Because I heard what you're saying about all these wonderful planes they're building and we're being kept quiet about it, you know, don't worry, national security, all that crap. Do you believe we've been visited by UFOs?
Are we alone in the universe? No.
Thank you.
Have we been visited?
Can I shake your hand on that? Because that's about the
Yeah.
first decent thing you've said. Right. Forget the crap. You worked in that department and ran that department, by the way. I've had my own intelligence out. What about the book? You can't tell the people.
Yes, written by a very good friend of mine, actually.
Who died of
Jean
cancer.
Brinny, yes.
But I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, a book on Britain's most compelling UFO incident. A UFO actually landed. This wasn't lights in the sky. It landed. The witnesses were military. One of them got close enough to touch the side of it. He saw strange symbols that he likened to Egyptian hieroglyphs. They took Geiger counter readings from where this thing had come down. The MOD's defence intelligence staff, in documents recently released under the Freedom of Information Act, said these radiation levels seem significantly higher than background. A very senior person in the MOD who I worked with, who was there at the time, said to me, Nick, this was the one case we couldn't explain.
Right. Now, Nick, about 9/11.
Yeah. 9/11 was a total conspiracy by Al-Qaeda.
Whoa, sir.
Whoa.
That's
Well, could you explain why? Could you explain why those buildings collapsed? Look at the size of planes. Look at the size of the buildings. Bearing in mind that all buildings in America are built to suffer a 7 on the Richter scale. Hold on. Why there were 2 explosions about level 4 before the planes hit, and one building that had just been insured for billions all of a sudden collapses?
I guess we've got a very short time for me to answer that, but I just...
Is that convenient?
No.
The version of events that we got from the American government. And I asked Nick if he believed them. I'm waiting for
So,
an
just to
answer.
clarify, do you actually believe 9/11 was an inside job?
Yes, I do. It's a total conspiracy. What you've got to do is look at all the footage taken by ordinary people in the street and everything. There were 2 explosions on level 4, from the ground, by the way, not from the top, 2 to 3 seconds before the planes hit. Look at the size of the buildings. Look at the size of the aircraft. You know, those buildings are built, in fact, were built to withstand aircraft attack. How they just collapsed, you tell me.
Well, one of the interesting things, I mean, I'll tell you how I suppose got drawn into this debate. My last tour of duty in the MOD was in the Directorate of Defence Security. So after I left, in fact, it was Frankie who asked me, well, Nick, take a look at these theories about 9/11 and see what you think.
Though I pretty much said it in the same way Mike Parrish just said it to him there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I had a look, and what I tried to do was take an even-handed approach. So I watched Loose Change, I met people like Annie Mashen, then I looked at the material on the State Department website, and I did what few of the 9/11 Truth Movement have ever done. I read the 9/11 Truth Commission report, you know. And I weighed it all up, and I said, well, actually, yeah, it does look remarkably like a terrorist attack, exactly as the terrorists claimed. And one of the other
terrorists
things...
claimed?
Yeah, don't forget, Al-Qaeda claimed responsibility for
But
this.
who was
Hold on a
financing
second.
Oh, that would suit
Al-Qaeda?
them to serve their ego.
Let's have a timeout because you're doing the stuff what politicians do.
That's right.
They've asked you direct questions.
Yeah.
Explain how a small plane hitting a building
It wasn't a small plane.
Wasn't it?
small plane compared to the size of the building.
Oh, yeah.
It's a small plane. Yeah, how a small plane could hit a building which is already built and designed to take a hit from a plane. How did it crumble like that? So you've looked at everything.
Yeah.
You've looked at more than a lot of other people, as you've just said. Yeah. So give us some facts now as to how that building managed to collapse in the way it did, based on the facts.
Yeah, one of the things that struck me as a fundamental misunderstanding that ran through, I think, and runs through still, the 9/11 Truth Movement, is this idea that steel melts at a certain temperature and aviation fuel...
it does.
Yeah, and aviation fuel burns at a certain temperature, and people then said, but aviation fuel does not burn at a high enough temperature to melt steel, therefore the story is false.
Right.
But when I looked into this in terms of looking to see what structural engineers were saying and architects were saying, they said, wait a minute. They said, you don't need to melt the steel for the building to fall. All you need is for the steel to lose its structural integrity. And you see fundamental misunderstandings like that run through the whole range of conspiracy theories.
Nick, heat travels up. No way will heat travel down. It's physically not possible. Science knows that. We're not talking about the top part collapsing. We're talking about whole buildings collapsing. Don't forget, these planes hit quite high up. Also, next door was another building. Hadn't even been touched. It felt like a pack of cards. Don't please sit there and think that we're all stupid.
No, but
we're not.
In defence of Nick, I have to say he does genuinely believe.
No, he's actually just sat here. Oh yeah, he may. Look, hold on.
He may be genuinely stupid, but that is what he genuinely
well,
believes.
I'm getting to wonder about this. Look, Nick, I don't mean to be rude. I'm not Jeremy Paxman, but you sat there and said you went onto government websites. No, I didn't say I went onto government websites. I went where the truth lies, and it's certainly never, and I hope the viewers believe me when I say don't ever believe a government website. That's all spin. It's absolute rubbish. Why didn't you go to the heart of where all the pictures were being taken and stuff? Why didn't you ask? Or did you ask?
Yeah, one of the
about
other
this
things.
building
Okay.
crash?
One of the other things that I did was I looked at in great detail at the investigative reporting that Popular Mechanics did. Now, here's a top science magazine, and what they said is, hey, look, if any of this is actually true, if this was an inside job, or even if it wasn't, but someone knew it was going to happen and allowed it to happen, we're sitting on the story of the century here. So let's go out
I think
with
you've
our...
just... I think you've
hang on,
hit the nail on the head. They knew it was going to happen.
Finish, Mike Hunt.
So what Popular Mechanics did was they said, let's look at all the conspiracy theories, all the theories about the explosions, the way in which the building collapsed, you know, all the way in which the planes hit. So what they did is they went out into the academic community, not the government community, the academic community, scientific community, and they said, right, for all these people on the forums and blogs and email lists saying, but the building wouldn't collapse like this, let's go and ask an architect. For all the people saying, but the aeroplane wouldn't disintegrate like that, let's go and ask someone who designs aircraft. And you know what? None of the conspiracy theories held any water
Yes,
whatsoever.
they do,
That's not necessarily true, Nick.
The conspiracy is that government bodies knew before those incidents happened they were going to. And you cannot sit there and say the CIA were not the paymasters of the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. They financed Bin Laden. So please don't sit there and say that the terrorists weren't in communication with the government. They were their paymasters.
Well, this is a historical argument. Of course, when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan in 1979, yes, of course, the Americans funded those who would fight against them, and of course, things
Could we
like
mention
Stinger
which
missiles.
people you're talking about? You said, of course they were funded. Who were funded? I've just said it. Now you confirm it, please.
I said that the US administration provided funding to various factions in Afghanistan who were fighting...
Yeah, which are the names? That's what I want.
It's incredibly complex because...
What you mean is...
I thought you said Al-Qaeda
No,
before.
look, I'm sorry. Here we go, Official Secrets Act. Can't say nothing. Stum it.
Let me go back to this point which you kind of ducked out of. Popular Mechanics, the academic community, the scientific community, are these guys now suddenly in on some sinister government conspiracy?
Yes, they are.
It depends on who...
But hold on.
When they could have won the Pulitzer Prize.
A lot of the conspiracy people actually employed their own, who, I might add, was more scientifically qualified and more civil and structural engineers than the ones the government decided to employ.
It is true there are genuine architects and things like that that do think 9/11 was an inside job.
We're going to go for a short commercial break and then we'll see you and catch you back at the other side.